What's going on, guys? Welcome to my Descendant build series for the First Descendant. Today we're going over my 2.0 builds for Bunny.
Are you ready to be shocked?
Bunny is a very fast-paced Descendant, and her kit can take some getting used to. She just recently got a nice beef up, and honestly, she's an absolute beast. She's an electric Descendant that runs around the battlefield generating electricity, which she stores in her suit's capacitors. She then uses the said stored electricity to absolutely decimate her enemies. Her abilities cause electrocution, which deals continuous damage to all enemies. She then deals additional damage to electrified enemies, so it's a nice little circle of awesome. The three transmods that I'll be focusing on for these builds are Electric Charge, Electric Condense, and High Voltage. Her passive ability, Rabbit Foot, allows her to deal electric damage every time she hits the ground after a double jump. Electric Charge increases this damage significantly. She deals 962% damage and builds stacks of charge for each hit. Once she reaches the max stacks, she will send out a massive shockwave that deals an additional 4,847% damage to all around her. I'm sure you've seen bunnies jumping around like crazy crackheads, yeah? And now you know why. Electric Condense alters her fourth ability, changing it into a wind-up sort of attack similar to Kyle's Magnetic Spurt. You activate it, she'll get pink electricity charging up around her body, and once it's charged, it will send out a massive shockwave all around her, which deals a shit ton of damage. Damage, of course, that's proportionate to the amount of stored electricity you have at the time of the burst. It also increases her sprint speed by 20%. So if you have the right build, you can move kinda close to the same speed as the speed of light without having to constantly burn through your mana, which is nice. Using a weapon that's cored for sprint speed also greatly helps with this. High Voltage changes her first and third abilities. It increases the range and damage dealt by both the Thrill Bomb and the Lightning Emission. A lightning emission is also changed to a 3-prong lightning attack instead of a 360-degree pulse. This is great for clearing large groups of enemies quickly and makes short work of nuisances during boss fights such as Obstructor's Orbs and Deathstalker's Skulls. Now, with that out of the way, let's move on to the builds. First and foremost, the trigger module you'll want to use on Bunny is Gap in Time. It is hands down the best trigger module for her out of what is currently available. A lot of people recommend Power Beyond, and that's fine if you wish to use it, but you will deal much more damage and much more consistently with a maxed out 35% damage Gap in Time than you will with the static 15% damage from Power Beyond. Even with the reduced damage percentage from your cooldown reduction, you're still getting more than 15% extra damage output with Gap in Time, so it's the far better option. But you do you. I also recommend using mid-air maneuvering for her grapple to make traversing the battlefield easier. Not only is it great for preventing being swarmed, it also allows you to launch and fling yourself around for much better mobility. The first build uses Electric Charge, and it's designed to clear large areas and large groups of mobs quickly. Simply pop your 2 to generate electricity, and then keep your 3 up for the electrical pulse, and jump around like a crazy person. It's actually a lot of fun. The mods for this build are Electric Charge, Power Increase, Multi-Talented, Electric Amplification, MP Collector, Singular Amplification, Focus on Singular, Amplification Control, Spear and Shield, Skill Expansion, and Nimble Fingers. Her second build uses High Voltage, and it's great for wide open areas like the Sigma Sector and Axion. This build is designed to never stop moving. You can literally run forever. Just keep your 2 and 3 active at all times and you'll make short work of your enemies. The mods for this build are High Voltage, Electronic Synthesium, Power Increase, MP Conversion, MP Collector, Focus on Singular, Skill Expansion, Singular Amplification, Electric Amplification, Spear and Shield, and Maximize Conservation. Now, if you would rather, you can swap out High Voltage for Electric Condense and run this build that way. It'll give you the continuous run and the 360-degree electric pulses, while also giving you the massive burst damage of Electric Condense on top of all that. Though the cooldown isn't as great for Electric Condense with this build as it is with the next build, so be mindful of that. Which brings me to the third build, which, you guessed it, uses Electric Condense. This build is great for tight areas and enemies with high HP like the Void Erosion Purge. The mods for this build are Electric Condense, Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion, Power Increase, Multi-Talented, Electric Amplification, Skill Expansion, Focus on Fusion, Fusion Amplification, Spear and Shield, and Maximize Conservation. Here is the RK tuning for these builds, and you'll want to use the Electric Cohesion Mutant Cell. Now, there is a kind of fun cheat, I guess you could say, for mobbing with Bunny as well. You can activate her third ability and then hop onto your hover bike, and the pulse will continue to go off while you're riding around. Now, the best part of this is that the bike will go through the enemies instead of getting stuck on them like you do when you're running. The downside of this, of course, is that you'll have to reactivate your third when it drops, which will of course take you off the bike, so then you just pop back on the bike and continue on. I will admit though that this is especially fun during the sealed residential mission in Axion, as it kind of feels like a motocross stunt track. Now, for bossing, Bunny is kind of a beast now. I consistently get about 1.5 billion to 2.5 billion against Wall Crasher running 5 minutes or less. Now, of course, this depends on the rest of the group, because, you know, let's face it, no one is soloing Wall Crasher, let's be real. Plus, on top of that, she can also solo all of the non-Abyss Colossi with relative ease. This build focuses on her fourth and turns it into a melting beam straight Ghostbuster style. You can jump up and down with your while your fourth is going off, which will help you generate more electricity for longer fights. The mods you will want to use for this build are Electric Charge, Maximize Conservation, Nimble Fingers, Final Wish, MP Conversion, Electric Amplification, Electronic Synthesium, Fusion Amplification, Strong Mentality, Spear and Shield, and Power Increase. And here is the RK tuning for this build. And you'll want to use the Electrocution Vulnerability Mutant Cell. For the weapons, I have the Enduring Legacy, the Last Dagger, and the Exterminator. I use the Enduring Legacy mainly for the sprint speed and the grappling hook cooldown. I use the Last Dagger whenever I'm going up against things that need weapons, such as the head rings on enemies like Plaudia, or the weapon shields like Void Vessels, Axion, etc. And then I use the Exterminator to take out those pesky assault ships on the Axion plains. I'm not gonna lie though, it is kind of cool. Double jump, grapple up, blow them bitches out of the sky, and then just land gracefully. Well, gracefully for Bunny, which means explode the hell out of the ground when she hits, but you know, gracefully for her. Here are the builds for these. For the Fellow, you'll absolutely want to use the Snowy Sled Dog for the MP regen. For reactors, you have two choices. You'll want to use a singular reactor for most of her builds. You can use a fusion reactor while you're running the electric condense build, or the boss build if you want to strengthen her fourth ability even further. For the external components, I used the Slayer set. The Supernova set is also a viable option, though I did find you will get a more consistent damage output with Slayer, but experiment, choose whichever works best for you. For the inversion reinforcement, I use Focus Boost for the reduced skill cost, Selective Neural Stimulation for the MP regen, and Shield Particle Reconfiguration for the extra defense and shields. Though you can use whichever third you want, that's just what I use. All in all, Bunny is a really fun character to play. I mean, she was always fun to play, but she's even more so now. She deals a lot of damage when played correctly. Keep her stored electricity and her mana full as much as possible to maximize her damage output. That's pretty much it, and she's a freaking beast. Just run around and nuke the hell out of everything. Check out my other Descendant build videos and feel free to ask any questions you may have about this build or about Bunny herself. And that's it for this video, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Later.